call to order the Cottrellville Township Board meeting today, Wednesday, October 10th. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a moment of silence today for a fellow co-worker who passed away Sunday morning, and we buried her today. Our assistant to the township's assessor is Ruth Ann Schutt. She was pretty excited about getting her MCAT when she became working in the assessor's office. We offer a prayer for her and her family. Okay. Can we have roll call, please?
Tom?
Yes.
Sue? Here. Kathy? Here. Mary Agnes?
Here.
Sherry? Here.
Okay, we're going to add a couple of things to the agenda. We have another open invoice to be paid for Kelly Law Firm in the amount of $125. I've included that in your stuff that you received today. Also, the under correspondence, the assessors, or the clerk's report under assessor's report, Barb didn't get to do one because she was kind of tied up with her family. And also, Ira Township Fire Department runs, there were none for September, so they will be joined when we finally get something from them. And do we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented, the consent agenda? The agenda, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Yes, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Nay, hearing none, motion carried. First thing we're going to do is introduce our auditors. The certified public accountants. They're going to do a debriefing for the financial statement for Cottrellville, the year-end statement for 3/31/2018. It's Stuart Beauvais and Whipple, and the representatives are Mr. Paul Bailey and Mrs. Tammy Pitzer. Your floor.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. We handed out a copy of your audited financial statement as of March 31st, 2018. I think you each got a copy of the electronic in your packet. We'll just briefly go through the numbers. If you have any questions, feel free to stop me. Tammy or I will try to answer your questions. If you turn in just past the table of contents, it says Stuart Beauvais and Whipple on the top, and it says Independent Auditor's Report. This is technically the only portion of the report that belongs to our firm, and it's where we give an opinion on whether your financial statements are presented in accordance with what they call general accepted accounting principles. And you have what they call an unmodified or clean opinion. That's what you're striving for. When we finished the audit, we had to ship it off to the Michigan Department of Treasury. And there's questions they ask what kind of opinion you get, and again, it's an unmodified or clean opinion, and that's what you're looking for. Page 3 through 6 is something called the Management Discussions and Analysis Letter. We're not going to spend much time with it, but just wanted to point out what that's for. It's just to give the reader a little bit of overview about the township, some very summarized financial information. We're going to talk more detail. This letter is required in order to get that unmodified opinion, though, in there. On page 7, as I think I explained in prior years, there's basically two sets of financial statements in your packet. About 10 or 15 years ago, governments were required to start reporting as if they were a commercial business. And pages 7, 8, and 9 is that type of financial statement. It includes all the assets of the township, including buildings, water and sewer lines, all your equipment and so forth, and any liabilities, long-term bonds that you owe, any potential liabilities. And if you kind of look, really we're not going to spend much time, but if you were a corporation, the very bottom right-hand corner, you'd be worth about $5,661,000. The only thing I will point out on this, a lot of governmental units have what they call a net position, negative net position, or a deficit, because they've promised a lot of unfunded pension benefits. You haven't done any of that. You don't have any of that. So all your net position is actually positive, and I commend you on keeping it that way. If we turn over to page 10, we'll start talking about the way you budget and maintain your funds. Page 10 is what they call your balance sheet for your governmental funds. The first column is your general fund. You'll see your general fund there had $335,000 of cash. It goes into receivables. Total assets of $471,123. Liabilities of $232,101, bills and things that you owe there at the end of the year. So what they call unavailable revenues, that's money that didn't come in soon enough to the end of the year to be put into the revenue of $22,704, which left a fund balance or carry forward into the year you're in of $216,316. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. There's two different classifications. There's a portion of it that you've already paid out for bills that you paid in fiscal 2018 that benefit the 18-19 years, and that's $33,640, which left your unassigned fund balance of $182,678. You can see your garbage fund next to it. They had a fund balance of $256,545. Your Cherry Beach had a fund balance at the end of the year of $1,693, and your parks $27,184. Now, if you turn over to page 12, page 12 is the operating statement, or what they call the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance. It shows the revenues that came in. You can see taxes of around $119,000, licenses and permits $72,000, intergovernmental $294,000. Charges for service of $22,000. Total revenues for the year ended March 31st of $518,514. You then list your expenditures by major category. There, total expenses for the year $532,637. You had what they call capital lease proceeds of $12,000. So for the year ended March 31st, you actually had expenses over revenues of $1,329, or basically a break-even year on year, almost revenues equal expenditures. You can see your garbage fund there took in $190,148. You spent $179, so you were $10,545 to the good. The Cherry Beach lighting revenues of $1,380 and expenses of $1,380. Your parks fund, you had revenues of $15,701. You had expenses of $17,425, so expenditures over revenues of $1,724. Again, very close. On page 14, these are called the proprietary funds, or the funds that operate similar to a business. It's your water and your sewer fund, and you can see your cash and your investments there on each one of them. If you go towards the bottom of the page, though, you'll see it says net position unrestricted. Your water fund would have a unrestricted net position of about $328,000. That would be similar to what you would have available to actually spend for operations. Your sewer fund there would have $138,000. Page 15 is the operating statement for the water and sewer fund. You'll see the water fund took in $418,130. You spent $518,211, but that includes depreciation. So if you add that back, you would have had expenses over revenues of about $10,000 for the year. Non-operating items netted down to a negative 403. Shows a net change in a position of negative 104. Again, 90,000 of that's a result of depreciation. It doesn't require a cash outflow, so you'd be about 14,000 to 15,000 expenses over revenues. You'll see your sewer fund was actually to the good, 62,442, and that included with 38,000 of depreciation. So your sewer fund's doing a little bit better. On page 16, it tries to tell the reader whether you have more money in your bank accounts than you had the year before. And if you go about a little more than halfway down the page, there's a line that says net increase, decrease in cash equivalents. You'll see your water fund actually, you had about $105,000 less in your bank account, and your sewer fund about $2,000 more in your bank account than the year before. The rest of the report just gives you a lot more detail on the numbers. There, I'll be happy to spend more time with it. I don't know how much time you would like, but it just gives a little bit more detail. Also in the report, on the back of the report, we've stuck a couple reports. As we explained in the past, one of the things, not only do we come out and audit your numbers, But we take a look at the processes that is used to record transactions, pay bills, things like that. And if we become aware of any weaknesses, we're required to communicate them to the board. The first letter that I'd like to talk about is the independent auditor's report, and this is where we talk about what we call weaknesses in your system, where something could not get recorded and not be detected on a timely basis. And again, I'll just briefly talk about them. One is just the cash account should be reconciled within about 30 days after the end of each month to the general ledger. And during the year, that didn't happen all the time. We'd just like to see that, get done. On the next one on the top of the page, your BSNA system does a printout for utility billings, water and sewer billings, and your special assessment balances. We'd just like to see those reconciled at the end of each month to your general ledger. It's just a good check and balances to make sure nothing gets misrecorded or not put in the right spot. The lack of segregation of duties just has to do with who is the administrator for the BSNA software. And what you should have that is somebody that doesn't have access to cash. And the reason is you can make manual journal entries to change it. So we suggest that you just look at who the administrator is of that. The next one is a kind of a technicality. Accounting standards, when Enron happened quite a few years ago, came up with this crazy idea that all units, whether it's a commercial or governmental, should have somebody on staff that can prepare these financial statements. Well, that's what you hire our firm for. That's what we specialize in. And that just basically says that you rely on us and you weigh the cost benefits. But theoretically, under accounting standards, they would like that. But very few municipalities your size have any, that. It's very common for us. And then the final one there just talks about adopting your budget. Under Michigan Public Act 621, you're required to adopt your budget before the start of the fiscal year. For the 2000 fiscal 18 year, it was approved after the start of the year, so technically we had expenditures before we had a budget, and under the state rules that you're not supposed to do that. So we're just reminding you to try to approve your budget earlier in the process. The second letter is kind of just to tell you if there was any problems during the audit. As you know, you hired us not only to do your audit, but help reconcile a number of different accounts, and Tammy and my staff came out and helped your staff. But we didn't have any difficulties. Everybody's very cooperative while we're doing the audit. And we enjoy working with you. And that just kind of goes through whether there was any difficulties or so forth. On the back of it, we also, because we do a number of different municipalities, these aren't what we call weaknesses, but areas that you also should think about. They could help the process a little bit. They're not what we can consider significant weaknesses, but just areas that could help the system out a little bit more. I'll be happy to go through them, but I know you each had a copy of the report, and I don't want to go through stuff you've already read. I'll be happy to go over anything in the report in more detail, or if you have any questions.
I already asked all my questions before, so I'm good.
I think we're all set.
Okay, well, it's a pleasure to work with you again.
Open it up to the audience and see if they have anything they want to ask. No?
You have said, a lot of the money's not insured. Is that normal?
Very normal for municipalities. Because it's not how many accounts you have at a bank, and you probably already know this. The Cottrellville Township only gets $250,000 regardless if they have 10 accounts with one bank. So it is very common to have a lot of money that's not FDIC insured. And all we ask there is when you authorize what banks you're going to use, is just make sure you're aware of their financial strength and you know who they are and things like that. Most of them have a pretty good star rating anymore there, so it's not a concern.
And then the other question I have is this lack of segregation of duties.
Yeah.
They had given the deputy treasurer a raise because she was doing so much of this work, but you're saying now that she shouldn't be doing it because of the fact that there's no checks and balances.
It circumvents some of the checks and balances that you have, because what happens is you don't like your people that collect cash receipts to have access to your accounting system. And by having all the access codes, theoretically, you have access to all the modules in BSNA. So for instance, there's a module called journal entries that you can post a manual journal entry. So you could actually write a receipt for cash coming in. You could then make an entry to make it look like it never happened.
Right.
And that's what we try to, we don't like that to happen.
Well, with the journal entries, when I was in the office of treasurer, I was told to let the clerk do them all.
Right.
You know, I could look at them, but the clerk was the one that entered them.
Yeah, posted, yeah, you could actually prepare them,
Yeah.
but she had to post them, and that's exactly,
Right.
the way the state statute is set up is exactly what you're explaining, is, the treasurer's office can prepare it or suggest to do an entry, but it's the clerk's office that should have responsibility. And by having somebody in the treasurer's department have full access to all the modules, it circumvents that control back and forth, because it could happen.
I had read the accounting manual of the state of Michigan,
Yes.
and it's very self-explanatory, and I wish these people would read it too.
I have one question. Could you explain a little bit more on the fire department and how we collect, when they have something and they respond and they get charged for the ambulance service or fire service, or how they recoup it and all that stuff?
Yeah, what we're asking for is, my understanding, Tammy, help me if I say this wrong, you bill, if there's a fire or emergency run for certain types of fire and emergency runs. And what we're asking here is that when you bill it, they're on pre-numbered receipts, okay? What happens is for control purposes, it is better, so that we can account for the sequence of them going out. Otherwise, we are not 100% sure we have seen all the receipts when we're doing the audit and accounted for those receipts. And basically, that's what that's talking about, as well as there is a procedure of it's supposed to be turned over to a collection agent. There's letters supposed to go out after a certain period of time, and then after a certain period of time, it's supposed to go over to a collection agency. And when we went over the procedures, they didn't quite happen. So what we're suggesting is either you change your policy and/or start following the policy of what it says. Did I say that correctly, Tim? Okay. Let her correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, women always will.
But we're doing
Yeah,
that
she
now,
will.
though?
No.
We are doing that now? Like turning over for collections?
No, we haven't sent anything in that I'm aware of, have we?
No.
Oh,
But we're numbering them, identifying them.
Okay.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to
That's
work
it.
with you again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your assistance here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tammy.
Thank you, Tammy.
so are we owed by people that have had fires?
Fires are different,
Okay,
and I don't want to go into it right now. I'll explain it to you later.
yeah, because I've been wondering, and emergency runs and all that, I didn't.
Emergency runs are different, yes.
Yeah, I want to know about that one day, because I don't know how that
Okay.
works.
The very next thing is our consent agenda. We have approval of the Township Board minutes of September 12th, the approval of the treasurer's reports, those 4 items, and we have the approval of the clerk's reports, revenue and expenditure ending September 30th, approval of paychecks and opens and already paids, and the check numbers, and of course, we removed assessor's report. And the correspondence is the Marine City Fire Department's runs for September, and we deleted Ira Township. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I would just like to change, on C2, approval of treasurer's reports, but that should also be dated as of September 30th, that top line. The only thing that wouldn't be would be the reconciliations, because we've approved to have 2 months prior on the reconciliation. So it's, you've got dated as of August 31st.
Okay,
So it should really be September 30th, the same as the clerks. We approved to have the recs, which are identified as being 8/31.
okay.
That's all. I'd like to just change that to indicate that those are up to date as well.
So that
We'll
should be
make that change
September 30th, 2018.
in future agendas as well.
Right. I didn't notice it before, I just noticed it after.
Did you make a motion to that?
I'd like to make a motion for the consent agenda, to approve it, or for the change?
No, for everything,
Oh, I'd like to
but
make a
with that
motion
change.
to approve the consent agenda with the change.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Do we have any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. By roll call vote, please.
Tom?
Aye.
Sue?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Mary Agnes?
Yes,
Sherry?
Yes.
motion carried. Okay, open session. Anybody got anything they want to say?
Is this on this stuff?
Anything that's on the agenda?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, don't forget, if you want the compensation commission this coming year, because it's always on the odd years, you have to, like, in November or something, pick them so they can meet in December, and then they can have their meetings accordingly in January. So if you decide to do that, now's the time to.
All right, we'll put that on the next agenda. Thank you. Anybody else? All right, 7:54, we'll continue with unfinished business. Proposal update on Shangri-La Trailer Park water and sewer tap-in fee.
That would be me, I guess. I submitted another request from Janelle, but I don't hear anything back. I did send her the original request that we had put out in the treasurer's office was April of 2017, so now it's almost going on 2 years, which with the increase in the water and sewer tap-in fees is even more money we're not recovering if we don't renegotiate that contract. So I was gonna say, we've got a lot on this agenda, but maybe next month, try to get a letter from her stating why she's not addressing that, because that's lost money every year. If we've got the approval of everybody else, DPW superintendent believes that the contract should be renegotiated as well, so. I tried to email her, she has not replied to me. I don't know, you're the liaison, so maybe she feels that she shouldn't be replying to me. But, that,
We've been kind
Should
of
be
working
some.
back and forth on that other deal right now, so.
I know, but this is money coming in that we could be receiving,
Mhm.
you know? So, that's what's up with that.
Okay, it requires no action at this time, except that we'll find out about the attorney. New business, request for permission for Parks and Rec to hold the annual Halloween event known as Trunk or Treat on Saturday, October 20th at 5 o'clock in the Township Park.
How much are you asking for that?
I didn't ask for anything.
Oh,
We've always been kind of picking up most of that, so. I say we've been picking up most of it between our little committee members.
Who are the committee members when you reference that?
yeah,
Right,
right.
you keep saying committee members.
What do you
Well-
mean by that?
There's myself and there's Kyle and Craig Breckenridge. There's William Scott Mazzola. And I got another lady that's wants to come back in.
So you're not spending, town parks and rec money?
We're not spending much, no, if we're spending anything at all. Most of the candy comes in from outsiders. We have everyone that gives, that does the trunk or treat part actually are
Well, yeah, I know they
adults,
bring
and
it,
they bring
but,
that
but
stuff.
there's, all the foods and stuff.
Well, hot dogs and buns, I guess we can float that ourselves, so we have
What's
them.
the limit you're gonna put on it? Isn't there a
Um,
limit?
I didn't put a limit on it, no, because we just buy what we need.
I
I have to
was
see how many
here,
people
yeah.
we have, so.
We were here last year in the rain. remember?
Yep.
So it really put a damper, but these guys moved everything in, so
It looked pretty cool up here.
I don't know what you spent, I don't remember what you spent last year.
I don't think I submitted anything for bills
I mean,
last
is,
year.
what do you're, for hot dogs and buns, is it gonna be more than $200 or what?
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, it shouldn't be.
So
yeah.
limited at $200?
Because really, you don't, if they're all coming for candy, they don't need a lot of other foods too, really, because they're coming for candy. And everybody's giving them candy, so.
So you want me to cut out the hot dogs then?
You know, I mean, what we always do is like hot dogs and the assortment of small bags of chips, and I think we did like hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we did cider and donuts,
yeah, well.
donut
cider-
bowls.
Yeah, I know cider's awfully expensive, so.
It's also the Michigan State game.
Oh, is it that day?
Yeah,
Oh, gosh.
just saying.
So we might not have so many adults, huh?
Just gonna send the kids out on their bikes.
So I would say,
So you want us to cancel the hot dogs part? I can take that off I haven't printed those up to send to the school yet,
No,
but I
but
did
I-
get permission to
At
print them.
least put a number on here, like $200 and no more than $200. Because I know that we've raised money in the past year to go toward it, so if you kept it
Okay, well, I'll
at.
make that in the form of a motion if you'd like.
Will
Okay.
that money come out of the Parks and Rec or?
Out of- Yeah, because what we raised went into Parks and Rec, so it'll come out of Parks and Rec, yeah.
What isn't, well, I guess there is no
What?
official committee for that, right?
What?
Parks and Rec.
Yeah,
They'd
there's
be the
official
one who'd
committee.
be voting on that because it's their money.
Well,
No, but they bring it to the board, which, as their rep, you bring it to the board and, yeah, that's, yeah.
Even the money you earn for it, I can understand the budgeted money, but the money you earn to put in, you think that would be different circumstances as far as how it's spent.
You mean when we
Like,
raised
For
it?
example, Historical Society has so much money in a checking account that we've earned over the years. But the board allows us a little budget, and if we use it, we use it. It's gotta be approved by you guys. If we don't use it, it just goes back, and that's the way it is. So if you earn money to put it in, I don't see why the board has to approve it. The board didn't work for it. It wasn't board approved money.
Well,
Oh, you have to though.
we were discussing that, it hasn't been, I haven't put it on the agenda, but Sherry and I have discussed that and the auditors as well, and they want us to put that money back into that we shouldn't have any other accounts that aren't, or checks out there unless they come through the board for approval, because that's how we do everything else now.
But the bottom line with that, with the Historical Society, that was money that was membership donations. I don't see why that even has to go. I mean, we could find another bank that can handle it better if the bank doesn't like it. But that money was never approved. It was never came from the township.
I have no records of it. I'd
You
have to
don't
go.
need records of it.
Well, if I'm the treasurer and I'm responsible for the $537, I think, that's sitting
Because our
at Fifth
lifetime
Third.
memberships are like $100. I mean, that's where that.
I have
money
no
came from.
records, I'd have to go, I was trying to just, work as what the auditors recommended, plus for me to go back, I have to get a statement going all the way back to 2006 to go back and see where that money came from. All I have are the signature cards that show you and your husband, and I think Ida Bazinski
Well,
at the time.
yeah, still on it, yeah.
So, I'm responsible for that. I didn't even know we had it.
You're responsible for the debits and the credits out of that?
Well, I'm responsible for what's in the bank. I didn't even know.
I know, but why would you be responsible for the debits and the credits?
Well, I'm responsible for where that money's
Well,
sitting,
then, I think
and
we should
she's
get a-
responsible
We should
for
get
it.
a personal account that says Historical Society, because that way we won't be, because the Historical Society, that's their earned money, it doesn't
Well, it's
make
just
any
like
sense.
every other fund, we have Parks and Rec, and we have
Yeah,
the
but
other
Parks and Rec
planning
money,
commission.
most of it and all this stuff comes from budgeted money. Planning Commission, budgeted money. Parks and Rec, budgeted money. This is not, this is money that they earn.
Well, I have to, like I
And
said,
we keep
we,
it aside for some event. Right now, we're having a problem because we don't have membership, and the person that was in charge is overwhelmed with it, still working, and overwhelmed with his own stuff going on. So therefore, our historical meetings have dropped back. But that doesn't mean it's not gonna move forward at some point in time.
well, it could still be put into the
I don't trust that.
Historical
because
Society.
Money disappeared.
It's really not, something that, we're going by the advice of the auditors, if that's what they're telling us to do
Well, maybe
according to the accounting
auditors-
procedures.
Maybe I should have an opportunity to explain to the auditors before.
Why don't
they
you
make
let
a
me
suggestion.
let me take it on for the next meeting, and, bring it up. Sherry and I've already talked about it a little
I'd like to
bit.
speak to that,
Well,
because
you-
I wanna be satisfied too.
You can be satisfied, that's fine, but I need to get, we haven't put it on
I
the
don't
agenda.
know what to talk about.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to put it on the agenda, and we just now, Sherry and I have been talking about it back and forth, so I can update you next month.
Well, but before anything gets moved, I really would like to speak about it, so.
I just put it in
Because
there
I
so
wanna
they can see I'm doing
understand
something.
that
Okay.
second hand.
Pat, I was gonna say, the Parks and Rec, even though, well, when I was on it, you have, if you wanna do something, your little board votes on it, but whatever money is spent has to come to this board to be okay, even if it's Parks and Rec money, it has to
Even
still.
if it's money you guys earn for Parks and Rec?
Well, yeah,
Donations
cause
or-
it's in there, yeah.
It's got our name on
Otherwise,
it.
otherwise somebody could just take it and spend it. I mean, it has to be okay. Yeah, we put it into Parks and Rec, I assume.
It says Cottrellville Township Historical Society, so it's, yeah. It's not that, it's just the way it's practiced.
Okay, so can we get back to, our trunk or treat? Do we have permission to do this, and would you like me to remove free hot dogs and chips and just do apple cider and donuts? Or you wanna just dump the donuts and the apple cider and do hot dogs and chips? But we gotta have something to drink, so maybe I'd just give them water.
Yeah.
Well, let's give them a little more sugar. No.
I was gonna say with donut holes and cider and then all that candy, I think hot dogs would be better.
Okay, so,
You
Hot dogs
use the
and
hot
chips,
dogs,
let's
don't
just
you?
do that.
A lot of people eat the hot dogs.
oh yeah, everybody eats something.
Oh, yeah.
And it's at 5 o'clock, so I figured that's about time for people to be eating. That's why I didn't think I would just do it with desserts, but it's whatever you guys want me to do.
Well, I think just hot dogs and,
I second the hot dog.
yeah.
and
Hot dogs
chips.
and chips is okay?
And less than 200? Not spending
You
any
want
more
the
than.
food wraps, right?
Yeah,
No,
no, we're
sticks.
gonna put them on sticks, yeah.
Oh, okay. You can bring
Hot
your own
dogs and
stick.
chips and bring your own stick.
What are we gonna drink then, if we're doing away with the apple cider?
Why don't you just leave it all the way it is? And it's-
Yeah, just do the little waters.
If the $200 is gonna cover it, or you don't think so?
I don't know, whatever it is, I'll pick up the difference.
Little
I'm
water.
just gonna
not
say
gonna
that.
argue about it, so.
Just
say
give me
that
your
That's what our
direction.
kids
If it's
drink,
over
little
$200, I'd pick
Yeah,
up the
you
difference.
I got little, I got
You
little
got
waters,
those
I got 2
little
cases
waters.
left over from the last time.
Right,
Those are
Sure.
great.
their
I'll pick
parents
up the
will
difference if it's over
appreciate it.
$200, that's fine, I just. I
Oh,
just
bless
write
your
out-
heart,
Were you thinking
What?
of the
I
hot
do it through my
chocolate or no?
business.
no, hot dogs,
You know how
no.
cold it's been some of those nights?
I know, but-
That one time we froze to death?
Yeah, but we do cookies and cocoa at Christmas. We can't have cocoa 2 times in a row. And this is fall, so I thought the apple cider and the donuts would be okay, but if you're thinking you were gonna, we'll just do water, hot dogs, buns, and chips. Is that what you want?
No, put the cider in there, I said I'd pick up the balance, I'll make that as a motion.
Okay.
You want the cider in there too?
Oh, yeah,
Okay. And
Oh,
we're
you-
gonna go with donut holes too?
if that's what we had before, just.
That's what we had before, yes, sir.
Do it the way we
Okay.
did it
Thank you.
before.
Okay, and you're
Thank you
doing the
very
whole
much,
tree?
Tom.
Huh?
You're buying this out of
If
your
it goes over
business?
$200,
Oh,
I'll
okay.
pick up the balance.
Thank you, Tom.
You can make the donuts.
No, he's
Thank
not gonna
you.
make donuts.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Yes, thank you, Tom.
All right, we have that in the form of a motion by Tom. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor, because we are spending up to $200. Roll call vote, please.
Kathy,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Mary Agnes,
Yes,
Sherry, yes.
thank you. Motion carried. Okay, what's our next little?
May I ask a question?
Of course.
Who is the donuts and where do they buy them? Why I'm asking that is because if they need donor holes or something like that, I can make arrangements to buy them at Kroger, and then if I purchase them, I get 10% off of everything. So any Kroger product, I get 10% off as a retiree.
Oh, how nice.
After 47 years, I should get something. I took my pension and said, here, you have
Get 10%
10%
off, but you have to buy something.
Kroger items.
Do they
They
have
took
cider
your
too?
pension.
Does that take care of your truck emissions?
I I usually shop the cider, the cheapest place I can get it, so sometimes Gordon's is like $3 and every place else it's $6 a gallon, so it just depends. The donuts I generally get from Paul's Bakery, cause she gives me like enough for a couple hundred kids.
Whatever you want, it's just a suggestion.
Yep.
Offers there.
I thank you so very much. We'll shop and see what we have to, what they'll charge us, and we'll go with the cheapest bid. How's that? Thank you. Thank you so much for offering. Okay, we have a couple of things that we're going through here. And these are for resolutions. First one is I went through this all with Barb and the MTA. There are things that have to be done in sections, first, second, and third. This is the first resolution for the fire protection. We've called it number 7. And we're asking, whereas the Township Board of Trustees has agreed under Public Act 81, 1989, and Public Act 188 of 1954 to create a fire protection service special assessment. Whereas the special assessment district is described as fire protection special assessment, and whereas the aforementioned proposed district for the improvement is the following parcels of land. Every parcel of land included all parcels of Cottrellville Township wide. Whereas in order to proceed with the special assessment, the Township Board, County of St. Clair, State of Michigan, pursuant to Act 81, Act of 1954 as amended, must tentatively declare its intention to undertake said special assessment district as described, and to impose upon Cottrellville Township tax roll an increase of up to .8808 mils, or 88 cents per thousand of taxable value in the tax limitation imposed under Article 9, Section 6 of the Michigan Constitution to levy for 4 years from 2019 through 2022 inclusive, which will raise an estimated $110,000 in the first year the millage is levied. Any residual funds shall be used for first protest services only. The mill rate to be divided between the summer and the winter tax for the first year only. The remaining years would be in the winter tax only. So, what I'm asking is that we begin this voyage or this journey and see if we can't begin bringing in some money to handle the things that we just can't take out of the general fund anymore, the fund balance, because it's just getting so low that there's nothing there to work with.
What's the decimal number, please?
I'm sorry?
The decimal number that you said, .00 something.
0.8808 is what's on
Yeah,
Yeah, I got the first 8.
the .8808.
yeah, and it works out, it's about 88 cents per thousand. And what we'll do, once we get, if the board will approve that and give me permission to go to the next step, we'll figure it all out for everybody, so everybody will know what it'll be, just like we did for the water lines. It'll be a fixed amount that we'll have within so much, so we can figure out what's gonna work. And then we have to put an ad in the paper. There's 2 public hearings. There's 1 public hearing, and then the newspaper ad has to go in twice. And that pretty well tells us what we have to do.
And this doesn't get voted on?
It gets voted on here for stage 1.
No, but I mean, put on a ballot.
No, we did that last year and we
Yeah,
lost
I
by
know.
like 5 votes. So, we've gotta be responsible stewards of our township and bite the bullet and start getting some money together to do the things that need attention around here.
Well, I think if everybody got a letter,
Can you do like an informal before
You mean like a town hall meeting?
before all of this to gauge, before you go through the whole process? Isn't it it's a very, are we ready for that? Are we ready for
No, it's
this
up to the board.
process?
You gave me direction last month
To work on it, to work on
begin,
it.
so.
But, yeah. And I appreciate that you did all that, but I was just expecting more information personally. I thought we would get something more in writing.
You mean calculations and
Well,
stuff? Well, I didn't wanna take up Barb's time if you guys kill it right here. If you kill it here,
Well,
then
that's what I'm saying is,
we don't have anything to discuss then.
before the first resolution and the public hearing, the first public hearing, the residents can also can get involved and, can't they, what's the word I want? They can protest it. or come up with a certain percentage of signatures. So wouldn't you wanna make sure that there's some kind, it's written right here on the steps. So that was my question, if we go through this first step and then the residents, show that they're not interested, there's information on here, and that's what I've been trying to research. I thought that was going to be part of what you proposed. So, I don't know if I'm right or not, but that's what I'm asking. What I read here, it says, if residents express interest, blah, 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 but then it says, if written objections are filed by a number of property owners, this Act 188 states that if the owners of more than 20% of the land in a proposed special assessment district file written objections within the town, or with the township clerk or before the first public hearing, the township board cannot proceed until petitions supporting the project signed by the owners of more than 50% of the property in the proposed district. So that's between the time we vote on this, right, and the time we have the first public hearing. When you do a special assessment. I have a lot of questions still. I thought that we were gonna have a lot more information.
Okay,
And
well,
we already are questioning how we did the the district for the water lines. There's still things that we didn't do correctly with that, so I appreciate that you did that. I just have a lot of questions.
I don't know.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
You're done.
Well, what I'm saying is, there were problems with it when we came in.
Because they petitioned for water lines.
I'm not talking about the-
The engineer we had.
No, I'm not talking about that. I apologize if that's the way you took it. What I'm talking about is how it was set up within the program. When we came in, we had to go back 2 years. We could only go back 2 years to recover monies. And that was because the 8%, that there's interest that can be applied. As I'm reading all this, I come up with more and more questions. We went back 2 years, but we couldn't retrieve all the monies from 2008 and 2009 because of that. So I'm just saying, there were some things that,
Yeah, but that had nothing to do with what we're doing here.
You're talking about retrieving in 2 years. This is-
no, I'm talking about setting it up so that we all know what our responsibilities are.
that-
Well, it's
But
set,
you're bringing in people petitioning against it, or whatever term you're using.
No.
And then, the thing is, if you move forward, you're gonna have to, from your experience, make sure that it is set up properly.
I'm
because
talking about,
it's-
no, what I'm talking about, let me clarify, talking about us approving it here today, between that time frame and the first public hearing. It says, according to this, it says that what are the residents' rights? Do the residents have a right to
Well,
object
the
it?
reason, the reason for the newspaper, announcement is to let people know. So you're gonna have to do this first to get to that.
Get to that point.
So that's when they can do their letter writing or protesting or
Um,
paying
we
or
want
whatever.
permission.
You've gotta get something going before you can do
we
all
want,
what
we
you're
want the
saying.
board to give us permission to continue.
Okay.
Right.
Doing nothing's not an option to move forward.
No,
No, but I'm
It's like
saying,
spinning your wheels in the sand.
no, what I'm saying is this.
You're jumping the gun is what you're doing.
What I'm saying,
You're going
can I speak?
ahead.
Can I speak? What I'm saying is, I researched this. I was hoping that we would have an outline of everything step by step for this meeting. That's all.
And
I don't-
not
oh,
a
well, she would've
resolution,
asked
but the
me for that.
steps we should take.
I
Well,
just,
I would thought you would have made that as part of the proposal.
well, when I went through with Barb, Barbara's done this before, so I just went
You
with
could
what she
have
gave me.
Barb, you could have had
Barb
a
was
county
supposed to be here,
assessor,
but she
a
didn't
county
feel like
assessor.
coming tonight.
And like I said, I think it's a good idea. I just think that after starting to research it, I'm confused by the process, and I
But if
provided this for
wasn't at this
myself.
meeting, though, I wouldn't know anything about this. That's why you gotta get the newspaper article.
But even that, because nobody gets a voice anymore, because you've got to buy it.
Is there a letter?
If you pay for it, but there's a lot of people who don't get it. I
Yes.
think,
Explaining,
I said
Well,
before,
you're gonna get invited
letters
to be,
to everybody.
to a meeting where we can discuss it.
Yeah.
right.
I
That's
think
the idea.
everybody should get a letter, like
I
it
mean,
says
the
in this
residents
one.
have to
Well,
be
they will.
notified somehow.
We gotta start somewhere, you guys.
Well, there's places that do informal hearings before you go through the process.
Well,
as
if you wanna spend the money on that, we can do that. We'll put
Well,
another ad in the paper and,
Wouldn't you just do you have to send out mailings for a town hall meeting?
well, how are you gonna get them to come in to tell you? I mean, it's no different than what we're sending them right now. We're asking them to come to a meeting so we can discuss this.
Okay, well, I
They
just,
said they got the town hall meeting at the fire department.
Yeah.
Who showed
Nobody
up?
came.
Us.
Yeah, we had 2 meetings there, and I've got permission to do that again if we can get this approved tonight, otherwise our timing is all off again.
well, I
If
just
I
feel,
can get this in the paper so that
I'm just
it
saying,
meets-
as far as I'm concerned, I need more information. That's
Okay.
just my
Well, why
opinion.
didn't you work with her to do the outline, since you knew about the outline that you wanted?
Because
If
I
she was
just got,
working with Barb.
be-
So if this is what
Yeah.
you wanted, why didn't you sketch an outline for
we
it?
made a
It's all
motion,
working together.
can I say something? We made a
Yes.
motion last month that she was going to work on it. That didn't mean, to me, I didn't know that you were gonna come up with an actual first step. I wanted to see more information.
Well, it
And
starts
yes,
with the
I
first
do-
step.
I do, this is what I do in between, once I get the packet, I'm researching all this, that's what I do.
Well, then you need to work together. You
Well,
should work
sometimes
together.
that doesn't
We should
always
have
happen.
Mary Agnes, maybe we should have an outline of this, so that, you know, we can see all the steps,
I-
or
well,
whatever.
I'm just saying, if it were my proposal, I would have had the outline, that's all. I
Okay,
would have had
well-
more information.
Where did the number for the mills come up from, Mary Agnes?
I'm sorry?
The amount of the mills, where did that number come
Well, we
from?
need it around 100,000, and so that was what was calculated, and that's the number I used from the 2017, because that's when I did it the first time. We've got more homes built since then, and it's slightly rising, so it might be a little more than that, I can adjust that, but I just wanted to get something going so we could begin the advertising and get the letters out. And if we're working towards, if we get a decision, affirmative answer tonight with you guys, we're shooting for a town hall or a public hearing on the 8th, where we're gonna discuss some of this stuff, which will give us the timing to get everything done before, you know.
Because if this doesn't go through, we're still working on the same, out of the general fund. I'm just trying to, you know, this is gonna incur 110,000 first year, more than what we got now. If this doesn't go through, we're out to 110,000, we still gotta make it work.
What do you mean
Is-
we're out 110,000?
Well, we won't have it.
Well, yeah, we won't have, we've only got, what do we got in our fund balance? What was that, 219? What do we got now? I just read it, what was it?
It's 200 and something.
Yeah, it's not,
So then our general fund will be depleted.
well, our
And
fund
we're
balance
still-
will be gone, that's our
That's what I
savings
was gonna say,
account.
we're still-
I got an idea, guys. Go bankrupt, it'll cost you a lot. Now they have to merge you with another township or somewhere, and all our taxes will go up, and we'll still be in the same, but only worse.
Does that, just by holding off and making sure that you've got it all in place and that everybody knows the responsibilities and the steps, doesn't mean that's a no answer. Just means,
But
why
you're
are
on
we
a time
pushing
frame,
it so
too.
fast? Why,
You're not pushing fast, we've been dealing with this since last year.
no, this is the first proposal. She put a proposal up, we had one up to vote for this fire protection. But-
Well, I did a similar one.
Yeah, I know.
And then you guys decided that it should be gone to the
Right.
public. And we spent $5,000 on an election, and we got nothing. So,
But the
I
people
don't want
of
that
the
to happen
commu-
again, that's why I
But
want.
the people of the community got to vote.
Yeah,
Okay,
Well,
that's
not
not
everybody.
nothing.
Well,
That's not nothing.
we didn't get enough out
Right.
there to see what was
But we
going on.
gave an
and-
option to the voters.
and
But
5
they were
people.
still
So it's-
uneducated on why
Yes.
we needed that money.
Okay, well, that's
For fire-
kind of
That's
our
And I
job up
think-
here.
Town
They
hall
should-
meeting after this thing
They
goes
should
in
all
paper.
get a letter explaining some of this that's on here,
Well,
what
that's-
we wanna do, but they all get a letter. Because so many people I talked to said, I didn't even know what it was about. And I said, we've had town hall meetings, it was in the paper, and they just don't read the paper.
Well, we've got a gal now with the voice that we're going to,
Yeah, but
We're
so,
gonna-
I-
I've got-
Send out letters, have a town hall meeting, and then move forward.
yeah.
But you gotta keep, you don't get started if you don't start somewhere.
But we could do this proposal, what we wanna do, we could mail it to people and give them a date of a meeting. So we could do those 3 steps, we get the letters out, they come to the meeting, they know what's going on and why. Because a lot of people still don't understand that we're gonna be broke in a couple of years. They don't understand why. So if we sent them a letter explaining things and set up a meeting.
okay, what do you want me to explain? Do you want me
Why
to tell
we
them how
need-
much their tax bill is gonna go up? Because that's what we do at the meeting.
That's-
And-
well,
But
what you've
before
got-
I can do that, before I can ask Barb to give me a tax roll with these numbers.
What you have here, you're explaining what you want.
What the
So,
proposal is
the-
about and whether.
yeah,
Why don't you just have an informal and go over the process?
Okay, do you
And
wanna?
then come to the board the following month
And then say
afterwards,
this
when
is
you
when
gauge
the
how
meeting is.
people
All
are
right, well, let's-
responding.
Okay,
Before
so,
we spend the money
all right, well,
to go
let's,
through the process.
let's beat this horse to death. Do you wanna drop this the way it is? Do you wanna
Well,
make a
just-
motion to, I'll move that we approve this so we can get started. If it dies for lack of support, then I guess that's what happens.
Well, that's what you
well, I
said,
think we
say
should do
all.
something.
Be done.
I still think we should explain to them where the money's coming from, that it's never been funded by anything.
We could send out the letters for the town hall meeting, so they'll come.
Or even the
And
public
explain,
hearing.
explain
Well, it's the
it.
same thing, it's a public
Regardless,
hearing.
something's gotta be done.
Yes.
So. you
And
might
I'm not
have
saying
to-
drop the
town hall
whole-
meetings, we did 2 of them and didn't waste the time. Make sure they get letters this time for the public hearing.
Yeah.
And hear the public out.
I think I said that last time.
Yeah,
that-
instead of
because-
the town hall meeting and just do the public hearing with the letters, pleading why we're doing this.
Yeah.
Before you start saying how much it's gonna cost. In the big picture, it's cheaper than it's gonna happen, because we're gonna have problems.
And the thing is, in other townships and cities, don't they pay fire protection?
Most everybody does, yeah.
And so,
We're the only one
and
that
we
doesn't.
don't, and that should be explained too,
Yeah.
that,
Well,
you
you
know,
can look
there's.
at your tax bill and see how many 17s appear on
Yeah.
there.
So
Everything
there are
is
things
the
that could
county
be put
and the
in a
state.
letter.
Why don't you guys all write a comment to make sure what you think should be in the letter, so Mary Agnes can draw it all in to a letter, and then you look at it and make sure that you think it covered everything. And that way, one person's not stuck doing, because it always works better when you got more heads are better than one. And what you think you'd like to get in a letter if you knew nothing, each one of you, what you would like to know before you, and then thinking, oh, the township's pushing this. We're not pushing it, there's reasons, and if you explain it, but make sure each one of you have the input that you would like in that letter that you received.
Well, I know that
Yeah,
when
it's
they
okay.
started collecting for the Voice, a lot of people wouldn't pay, what is it, $12 a year? People,
Is that more than
or
that?
14, maybe.
We're
It's
not-
not a lot,
Probably in the 20s.
Yeah, I think
26,
It's postage and.
26, so we're paying,
50 cents a week.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not horrible.
It's
So,
local news, yeah.
but there's a lot of people that won't
That's true.
pay for it, so they're not getting it, so they're uninformed now as far as what's going on here.
Right.
Yeah, and they don't see all the
Right.
special notices, so,
All right, we have a motion on the floor to approve this first resolution to begin the journey down to get this stuff before the public. Do I have a second? Okay,
I'll second.
you'll second? Okay. All right, we have a motion on the floor, we have a second. We have any further discussion on this? Let's have a roll call vote, please.
Tom,
No.
Sue,
no.
Kathy,
No,
Mary Agnes,
Yes.
Sherry, yes.
Tom, you're the breaker.
I already said no.
He voted no, he said
I can,
You said no?
I'm still getting in trouble over proposing the water increase.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah, I'm setting up.
I'm trying to explain to them that we're operating in a deficit, and
all
they
right,
said they should have known about it before we voted on it.
all right, motion is declined. All right,
Could I interject a question?
sure.
What is the difference setting up this fire fund, charging the people, everybody? When we have the fire authority, and they bill the people, and they collect it for us in that. So we're collecting from the people that are using it, not everybody, and maybe not everybody will want to pay. You know what I'm trying to say? What's the difference between having the service and then paying for it to the fire authority, to the fire department, who's gonna bill you? Or have a thing where we just, we're not gonna bill those people, we got it, we just collect this money and we just pay them.
You're misunderstanding, but I'll have to, come into me, in my office, and I'll sit down and go through the ordinance with you, so you can see what we're doing, okay? All right, our next thing, does anybody else wanna do anything with this then? What is your motion then, Kathy, that you want me to do?
I'm not making a motion right now, I gotta research more.
Okay,
I-
so we're just
I'm
gonna,
not knowledgeable enough to make on it the subject yet to make.
do we
Would you
wanna
have-
put it on the agenda for next month, or we just wanna let it go by the wayside?
No, we need to keep
I
proceeding.
think we should pursue it, I just want more information, that's all.
Okay,
That's what I'm asking
And
for.
as she said, each person put in what they
Right.
think should be in the letter that goes out to the people.
okay, well,
And if everybody does that, and then we bring it in, somebody can
All
put
right, well,
it together.
I'm
as
gonna
a
cancel
good-
that meeting then for the 8th.
There's,
Okay.
there's suggestions in these MTA things on, these brochures on how to, the steps, and if I didn't get it to you in time, it's only because I'm rushing to do my things as well. I'm there too, anybody can come and talk to me as well, but between the time we get the packet and researching it, I had more and more questions, so I tried to keep up and do as much research as I can, but sometimes, you know, between what we're doing too, it's a little,
Well, had I
Much
known
right
you,
away.
you were doing all that, I would've just had you talk to Barb, because,
well, I have been talking to Barb, I work a lot with Barb, so,
well, kinda, that's what I thought, that's why I didn't think it was gonna be an issue. But we'll,
yeah, like I said, I thought this would be something that would be brought up, we'd have the steps out and everything would be
okay,
outlined. That's what I'll put in my letter.
okay. Well, it's kind of lined up there the way it is. I mean, it tells you what we're gonna be raising, it tells you what years it's going to be proposed at, it tells you that it's gonna be in the newspaper twice, that there's gonna be a public hearing, it tells you that the publication has to be 10 days before the hearing. I mean, those are all the things that we're doing.
You know, does everybody know what their responsibilities are? The clerk,
As far as,
how you're gonna record it, who's gonna take care of the records, how is,
well, it's
all of
always,
those things.
the assessor takes care of the assessment role, that's what it is, and then it's, up to that, it's you.
No, there's other things the clerk has to do too, so that was, right here, she's doing, you know, it lists it, is what I'm saying, it's got all the responsibilities of the supervisor, the township board, the clerk, the treasurer, those kinds of things.
All right, well, I guess you have to get me a copy of that, because I was just going by what Barb had done for 33 years over at Clay Township. but-
Well, she has a lot of experience, but, you know, we're new, so I'm just trying to learn as much as I can.
Okay,
You're not new, you've been here 2 years, that's
No,
not new.
I'm as new as everybody else.
New on
This is
something
my
like this.
first special assessment.
okay. All right, the next item that we're gonna discuss then is, for a special assessment for repairs and maintenance of drains in the township. We have a drains at large, which is kinda take care of the entire township. That money right now has been coming out of the, fund balance again, it's around 40,000, 39,000 something. And then they've been cleaning ditches and drains for our part of the county, and specialize in our assessing those people that benefit for that. What I'd like to do is take, and I'm waiting for Jim Hartson to send us the actual roll with all the money that is expended on that. And what I'd like to do is just divide it out equally to everybody, so that everybody pays a small amount and helps everyone else. So that it's an assessment that would come out, and we would pay for it once a year, and we'd have that money in a certain line item that would take care of those items. It's been done in Kent County, it's been done in one other county. I talked to the attorney that prepared both those documents, and I prepared this resolution with that same, with all those same regulations. It's gonna be the same thing that I went through with the other one, so if you don't like that one, you probably aren't gonna go for this one either. But it just tells you where that, so that everybody's paying a percentage, and it'll all be flat across the board, so that if we have $100,000 we have to come up with, and we have 3,000 parcels of land, that you take that 100,000 and you divide it by 3,000, and that's what everybody's gonna be paying, is that flat rate. If we do it by millage, I know you can write that off your income tax, you can't do it this way, it's just like the garbage assessment that we had. If there's a way that I can figure out how to do this, I will, but I'm just throwing out there what has been done in 2 other counties.
Well, what about well, like Bev said last time, she's being charged for a drain. I think we're being charged
Right.
for, yeah, we are too.
That's what I
We
just said, we're
wouldn't-
gonna
and we
dump
wouldn't
those all
pay-
together.
But I don't have a drain.
No, and I don't wanna have
So
one
why
either, but
would-
we're gonna be paying it all.
Why would I wanna pay, this is my thought on this, and my objection to this is, they're already being charged for a drain. And that's 2 drains, and everyone's being charged different per drain. Now, I don't have a drain, so why would I pay for the maintenance on her drain?
Well, because we're putting it all together in one pot, and we're dividing it up so it goes down as a less expensive thing for everybody. The drains at large are the responsibility of the township. Everybody's in, I mean, if we can't do anything except that, we can write that off, we can put that together. However, the people that have drains, some of them are in 2 districts at once. What we're trying to do is even it out so that everybody pays a little bit. It'll be less than what she's paying now, so why wouldn't somebody go for that?
But I don't have a drain.
Eliminate the
Well-
drains, the fees that I'm paying now, is that what you're gonna do?
I'm
No,
sorry?
it's just that the other residents that don't have drains are gonna be feed, or don't have drains are gonna get taxed as
Well,
well.
that's why I said I would be
Yeah.
paying triple then.
You would,
No,
No.
yours would be gone. Your amount that's assessed on your property would go into a pot and spread it out with everybody. If you,
I don't
instead of
think it
having,
Yeah, you can keep your own drain, I don't want you.
so in other words, every resident of the township's gonna be responsible for the cost of drains. Even
But
though
see,
you're not,
the-
even though I'm not assessed for a drain, I'm gonna be responsible for a drain.
But that's
The
like,
one assessment was for, I think, 1 year, the other one is, I don't know.
We get different ones every year, yeah.
it depends on when they clean it.
but that was like when they put water through, only the people that benefited paid for it. We couldn't ask
Right.
anybody else in the township to pay for that.
You have to get some kind of
So
benefit by
it's-
having the
yeah.
special assessment. If
Yeah.
I don't have a drain, what's my benefit?
It's just to make it easier for everybody. So if there's money there, well, where are you gonna get the money then?
I
I
don't,
understood it as the way it would work, everybody would still have their own drains, because some are certain years and they're so long, and those, like, you can, some people can pay those off early, so some people may have already paid those off. So how are you gonna?
how are you gonna tell
do
who
that
did
fair?
and who didn't?
Well, that's what we have to find out. The drain office would give us that information.
For the people
should
that,
be-
And every year it would be a different amount, simply because, like you say, one was a 3-year, one was a 1-year, one was a 15-year. But we're trying to spread it out thin so that everybody has to pay a little bit just to keep things rolling. I mean, if you don't like the idea, you don't like it. But I know it worked in 2 other counties, so.
I checked, nobody in St. Clair County has it.
No, but they wanted to know, when I wrote this up, they asked me for a copy.
Right,
Because
and I did-
I already talked to Mr. Wiley about it. He's on board to possibly, if this works down here, he'd like to see everybody do it that way.
Yeah, I talked to Jim Hart, the drain commissioner,
Hartson?
Hartson, the deputy drain commissioner, and, he questioned the legality of it. He said that might be something you'd wanna get through I don't know if you've checked with our attorney to see if we can legally do that. I
Well,
don't
it's
know.
legal, because like I said, it's happened in 2 counties already.
I'm just saying, that's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
well, I know that's what you're saying, but I don't want you to think that I just come up with these ideas and I don't check the stuff out. I do, but I guess I'm not asking the right questions, because I don't seem to be doing anything right. So,
Well, I think
do
the
you
one,
wanna, talk about this, or do you wanna just drop this one too?
I think that the fire one is the one to go for,
I-
Okay,
personally.
well, we've got other problems. We can't
But if
just
you
depend on
eliminate-
one thing.
If you eliminate $100,000 in costs, if you get the fire, we go and go slowly and go step by step and get our things together and make sure we're all on the same page here,
let's see where we are.
and you get $100,000 out of that we're not responsible for the general fund, why do we need these?
Well, because we want to be able to be responsible and adjust it as we need to. That's what we
Why
have
don't
to
we
do.
see, why don't we just do one and see,
Well, because one didn't work last year. I came through with all this stuff, now this is my 3rd time.
Well, why don't Bev and I just keep on paying our share and not make everybody else pay for ours?
no, I'm
Yeah.
just saying, if you get this, if we concentrate one at a time, get this one going, then maybe the next step would be to do another one, but why are we
Okay.
gonna do 3?
All right,
On
well,
that drain part about paint, okay, I talked to Barb, and I didn't realize it. but I heard about it from the county drain commissioner himself when he was here with that. And if the drain goes through part of your property, you cannot tax me for that part of the property. So that part of the property, that part of my property is mine, but my taxes were cut because I didn't have to pay for that because of the drain. So anybody that's got a drain on part of their property, that is excluded from the tax value of the roll, the tax rolls.
Oh, yeah, but
I
what
have a
this
drain on
is,
my property.
yeah, but you
I-
get,
but
but we
runoff.
benefit,
The
our
benefit.
water is going to a county drain,
Right.
or a creek, or whatever, and that's what we're paying for when they clean it out.
We do it right, because we sure didn't
Yeah.
do the water lines right. I mean, I got a hole in front of my house that I could stick a flagship in it.
Yeah, I
I never
know.
had it before, and it drains through. I still get water, because the water doesn't go down the weekend.
I know you have such a big ditch.
It doesn't go the other way.
Yeah.
They're all boxed in the right line.
Yeah,
Okay.
What you're gonna run into, I'm afraid with this here one too, is the people that just got their drains cleaned and they're paying for it, they're gonna want reimbursement.
No,
Yeah, 'cause it's a
because it
change
only
of
goes
assessment
from what's on,
or whatever
that's
you
why it's
call
gotta be
it.
looked at every year. You gotta have an annual meeting every year, like in August, so that when Kathy goes to do the collecting of the taxes, and she knows what, it may have to be adjusted, because some drains will drop off. I mean, that's,
They send me the information and we just put it in there.
yep.
We know,
So-
this year there's 7.
Okay, so I'm just gonna ask you to approve this, make a motion to approve this, and then if it dies for lack of support, we'll go on to the next one. I would like to see that we repair and maintain our drains, and our drains at large for the township by special assessment. Do I have a second? I guess it dies for lack of support. Let's go on to the next one. Okay, this is the road repair. And this one, at last month's meeting, we approved to spend $45,000, or half of $45,000, to fix that, road up here, that one drain that runs on Plank Road. We approved that to be done. We're gonna have to come up with half that money. That's gonna have to come out of our fund balance again. We have nothing in our records to collect money for drains. There are other things that I'd like to see, if we could raise around 60 grand a year, that we could put like 2 years together and fix something major. If we could maintain our own ditches, just try and get some of these ditches all cleaned up, then all the gravel roads would have crowns on them like they're supposed to, and they wouldn't go to hell every year, when the frost comes out. We're gonna have to have that, half of that 45,000 when they fix this next year. We don't have a choice. I just wanted to start a little nest egg for that, so that as we needed these things, and the county offered us a 50-50 match, that we would be able to contribute some money. Right now, we can't do anything. So, that's what I would like to see happen with this number 9, Township Road Repair and Special Assessment. It also has to do with the same,
Number 4.
I'm sorry?
Number 4.
She meant resolution.
No, the resolution number 9.
Number 9, okay, sorry.
So,
I think we should just concentrate on the fire protection, and people are gonna say tax, tax, tax.
okay, well, that's what life is in the big city.
Yeah, well, we're not the big city,
Yeah, well, the problem is you guys all want the same kind of things, but you don't wanna pay for it. And it's worked good up till now, but now there's no money, and now if they decide to force us into bankruptcy, then I guess we would be looking for a new partner, so.
Okay.
This
One
is
thing
the
at a
special
time, I think.
assessment that, I have the resolution on the floor. Would someone want to second that, or shall we dump this in the toilet too?
I'll second that.
Okay,
Now, this one doesn't have any mills or dollars or cents on it yet?
nope, we haven't gone that far yet. But I will have something together when we have our meeting, if we still hold a meeting on the 10th of, or the 8th of November. This is another one that gets us started.
Well, the thing is, if you do get the fire protection one, that won't be coming out of the general fund, will the other two fund.
Yep,
because
they
it's
would.
already-
If
yeah.
you wanna work that close, we're supposed to have 2.5 times our budget
So, I mean,
in,
if you
in
pass-
reserves, and we don't have a
Sue
third of it.
said, pass the fire one first.
Okay, well,
and then
that's what
pass
you
one for the
advised,
rest.
that's what everybody advised last November, and it went out, and we're sitting here with our,
Well, then we kind of learned some of the problems of why it didn't go through.
That's because people were uninformed.
And it was at last minute.
last
for a
minute.
vote.
It
For
was,
the vote, for the election, it was in the summer, wasn't it, in August? or-
no, it was in November,
November.
but we did it,
Yeah.
we
It was in
started it in
November.
August.
Yeah,
I mean, aside from walking up and down the street with sandwich signs, how else you gonna, you know, we had 2 public hearings, nobody showed up.
We need to
We
send
wanted-
letters.
Well, that's all cost money, if you want us to
Yeah.
do that, we'd be happy to do that.
Well, that's what we
We'll-
already
it's
talked
the
about.
process,
Yeah,
We'll invite you to help fold and stuff.
I will
When
come
are
in
you
and
going
help.
to be wanting to do this? Because, you know, too bad the water bills just went out. You could have sent a notice with the water bills or.
No, there's
the
not enough people.
Or taxes,
you know,
yeah.
something.
Yeah,
Taxes are gonna go up December first.
Mm-hmm.
You got a, you know, a little notice with them that there's gonna be a meeting and public hearing or whatever.
yeah.
Okay,
I'd like to see some numbers put with this one, because our roads are in bad shape. And it's,
all right, well, we got a motion on the floor, we have a second.
that's,
Call for a, we have a second, we just need a roll call.
that's just to proceed on this, to put some numbers with it and research it.
No, it
Yep.
says it was adopted today.
This is the first resolution. Resolution number 1, there's 3 stages to a special assessment, Sue. I know you don't understand a lot of this yet,
But
but,
we should have numbers before we even,
well,
okay, anything.
you can't have numbers yet till we decide what we're gonna be doing here. If you don't want me to waste my time doing it, I'm not gonna go through all that.
all we're asking is, or at least what I'm asking is that we have this, of course we don't understand it, we've never done one before. So
Okay.
we're all trying to understand it.
Okay,
It's just, I'm just saying, let's slow down, take one at a time. We don't have to do all 3.
okay,
That's my opinion.
all right. Well, we have a motion on the floor, and we have a second. Could I please have roll call?
Tom,
Yes.
Mary Agnes.
Yes,
Sue,
No.
Kathy,
No.
Sherry, yes.
okay, motion carried. Thank you for that one. All right, we'll get some stuff going. We also have a request by Chris Hilton of our DPW that he needs some items, replacement sensors for water meters, lift cables, 12 3/4-inch water meters, and 200 flags for misdig stakings, not to exceed $4,000. Do we have a motion to approve that $4,000?
I'll make the motion to approve the $4,000 requested by Chris Hiltonen to replace sensors for water meters, lift cable, 12 3/4-inch water meters, 200 flags for misdig stakings.
I'll second. All in favor signify by saying aye. By roll call vote, please. We're spending
Sue?
money.
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Mary Agnes.
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Sherry, yes.
Okay, the next item is motion carried. Thank you. The next item is St. Clair DPW Water Supply System, Series 2009, is for Water District 3 and 4, the bond retirement in the amount of $27,781.25 in interest only. There is no principal this time, and it must be paid prior to October 11th. That is also in our already paid at $75,000, is that correct, Sherry?
The 75,000, that was, yes.
It was
that's
in that one, okay.
Yep.
For the record, I would like a motion to be able to pay that $27,781.25 to the St. Clair County DPW for interest only, and I shall so move. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to spend money. Roll call vote, please.
Tom,
Yes.
Mary Agnes.
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Sherry, yes.
Okay, the next item is the request for the supervisor for the approval of the 2018 request for local millage distribution. That application is in your thing. It also includes a page from last year's, or the current year's, expenditures from the road commission, or from the Parks Commission. And it was sent in, and for form, it was correctly done. I just wanted board action on allowing them to pay it to me. Do we have a motion to accept the 2018 request for local distribution for St. Clair County Parks and Recreation? I will so move. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Nays? Hearing none, motion carried. All right, the next thing is increasing for building department application fees. We want to raise that from $40 to $50. I've done a resolution to that effect. Whereas the zoning ordinance number 17 of Cottrellville Township Administration Enforcement provision allows for the administration enforcement by the building official and the building department, and whereas Section 132.1207 fees allows for fees for inspection, issuance of permits or certificates and copies thereof required or issued under provisions of the ordinance may be collected by the building official in advance of issuance. The amount of the fee shall be established by resolution, which we are doing with this, and shall cover the cost of inspections and supervision resulting in the enforcement of the ordinance. Whereas a completed and signed application for a building permit shall be approved or provided by the building department office with a minimum application of $50. The balance of the application shall be paid in full upon issuance of the permit and prior to the commencement of the work. Any work started prior to the issuance and the payment of the application fee shall double the cost of the said building permit. We're getting a lot of applications that are requiring Bill to do a lot of work on, and then they fall apart. They can't be done and they drop it. The $50 is at least gonna cover that cost for him to review stuff.
Is this what other townships charge? Do you
Yes.
know? Okay.
It
Yes.
should have been on our other admin fee proposal, but I don't think.
Yeah, we
got on.
skipped that one.
Well, only
That's
one
all
of the permits
Right,
went up to 50, and then we're
Yep.
just making it official to have all
Yeah,
of them.
they're all gonna be 50. So, and
Does that, with the value of the homes that are going up on Shea Road, $50 would be nothing.
Nothing,
You can
yeah.
make 50 or 100.
Yeah.
no, the application
No,
fee for
this
them
is
to drop
just
the
the
permits off.
Oh,
And then we calculate by the square footage, the value of the land,
Yeah,
oh,
you
okay.
know,
it's just one
all
line
that stuff.
item.
That's all going up, isn't all the, our,
everything is gonna be going up pretty soon, yes, sir. That's the next little project I'm working on after I got this stuff done, but I guess I'll have a lot of free time now. Okay. I have a motion on the floor for this increase of all building department application fees, and I would so move that that be approved. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote for this, please.
Tom?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes,
Mary Agnes?
Yes.
Sherry? Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you very much. Policies and procedures for the township offices. We've had a number of holidays that fall on a Monday. When we take Monday off, usually we work the following day all day. We've been kind of testing this all summer. The fact that nobody really shows up on Tuesday anyway, so we get a lot of work done, and that gives our people a chance, if they want to work themselves, they can. The door would be locked to the public, and they can decide if they want to answer the phone or not. What I would like to do is I make a motion to change the resolution for policies and procedures for township office hours. That will give everybody direction as to, the regular hours will remain the same. It's just if the holiday falls on a Monday, the office would be closed. And the next day being Tuesday, the hours would still be 9 to 12. And the balance of the work week would be Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to noon, and Friday we're still closed. Do we have a motion to approve that resolution, please?
I'll make a motion to approve this
Could
resolution.
I ask Al a question? When you figured what everybody gets paid, weren't you one that set up if they were closed Monday, then they,
no,
oh, I thought
That
that
was
was part
Kenny.
of,
no.
that was who?
Kenny?
That was the board, that was what.
Well, yeah, I know when the board stepped, but I thought that was
No.
part of your, what people
Oh,
got paid, okay.
No.
No, I think that you should make up for it in another day, really.
Okay, well, we're all salaried, Sue, so,
I know,
and
I
I can
know.
tell you, I've been here, the last 2 weeks, I've been here till almost 9 o'clock every night. So you're getting your money's worth out of me, and I know I'm running into these two all the time. She works a lot of Saturdays and Sundays.
Well,
and
Yeah, but
Nobody-
it's being open.
Nobody comes
Being
in
that you're
afternoon.
closed.
Nobody
We're
come in
here.
afternoon.
We tested,
Yeah.
and I'm here, and a lot of times, nobody comes in because they're so used to us working till noon,
Yep,
that it's kinda crazy to have her sit till 5 and Marge sit till 5 and, you know, we're the officials are here.
We'll be all caught up on our work.
No, I don't mean
No,
sit,
we're
I
not
just mean
sitting
be
doing nothing,
present,
believe me.
No, I have to watch what I say, and clarify that.
the amount of work that these girls in here produce for what they're paid is amazing.
We even stayed like the days after the what was it, Christmas, whatever, it fell over Christmas and New Year's. Not a soul when I was here came in.
Nope,
But we were here.
and the only phone calls you get is from the Edison.
Do you
Well-
follow the times that you have to be open, like for bill paying, taxes?
Yeah.
Yes,
What have
yeah,
you?
those are different regulations.
That was
I know, but
in addition.
Those are
Oh, yeah,
strictly treasurer.
And we had additional days
for the clerk too.
outside of the requirements.
voting.
right, For voting, election.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They're honest, they're staying on target here. But we just wanted to get this straightened out and make it legit, so if you, we have a motion on the floor, and did we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor?
I thought Kathy
Kathy did
made
the
the
motion.
motion.
Yeah,
Oh.
we need a second.
I'm sorry.
Okay. We have a motion and a second, and would you do this as a roll call vote, please?
Kathy,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Mary Agnes,
Yes.
Sue,
No.
Sherry, yes.
Motion carried. Thank you very much. We have a fall workshop planned for metropolitan planning up in Port Huron for our board members. Our chairman, I just noticed that she left. What we're gonna try and do is see, it's $20. If we pay it after this 22nd, we're gonna look and see how many board members on the planning commission are interested in attending this. It's kind of interesting. I like to go to these, so if I'm available, I'm going to be attending, but I'll probably pay my own way anyway, so. That's the only announcement I have. Anybody else got anything to say?
I'd like to ask something as far as the holidays, now that it's gonna be winter. What are we doing as far as, we had snow days?
Okay,
And
snow
I don't,
Snow days have
I
always
could
been.
crawl here, I could crawl here, I mean,
Yeah.
to me, I
They're
don't
all,
understand.
they're all tied to when the East China School District is open or closed. You wanna change that, we can do that too.
Well, maybe
But at this point in time,
there were
that's what it starts.
there were times last year where I was told we weren't coming in, but then everybody came in, so.
Well, it's just to work.
But
stuff
if we can
done.
come in to work on our own, why can't we come in and open up the office?
Well, because there was nobody coming in anyway, so.
That
But-
doesn't.
But it's up,
But
if
you-
you wanna do
but-
that, that's fine. We just gotta
Yeah,
write it
I just wanna make
Say,
sure.
but you could.
Yeah, if you want me to write up in a resolution for next board meeting, I just wanna make sure we're all on the same note, so if, being that I'm the treasurer and taking cash in, I need to know if we say we're open or not open, that I have enough people in there to protect who's ever taking the money in. I don't, not that we found ourselves in there, I just wanna make sure now that we're all on the same page.
If you decide you wanna take cash,
No,
all you
if
have to
we
do is
say
tell
no.
me and I will be here.
No, I want to know before what our policy is. Are we coming in on snow days? Why are we if we're all live real close, I don't think we had any days, we had one day. The only time we didn't come in was when the power was
Power
out.
was out, yeah.
And I think we even came in then for a little bit. But are we gonna follow, if we follow East China, then that's what we'll do. If that's
Well, the only reason we did it before was because we had women working here with little kids.
Yeah,
And when there was no school, then
yeah,
they wanted to be home with their kids. But we don't have anybody with little ones.
yeah.
So-
So if we follow East China, we follow East China. But I just don't wanna find out the last minute, other people are coming in and opening the door and doing business and I'm not here. It makes us look like we didn't respond.
All right, well, whatever you
So-
wanna do, if you wanna,
That's what, I'll make it.
write it up.
I just thought I'd mention it when we're talking about holidays, cause
Okay.
snow's gonna start falling.
I would've stuck that in
Said that bad
in
word.
that same one, so.
Yeah, I thought of it afterwards and.
Maybe we'll just add it to that one and reapprove it if you don't, so we don't have a lot of.
Saturday night. Frost.
I have my picnic table, I gotta get all that stuff in, so.
Okay, is there, anybody got anything else to say? Any other board members? Got anything to talk about? No? What about public? We have any more in our public? Yes, sir.
I appreciate you allowing us to ask a question once in a while when it's not open session. I do appreciate that.
Well, I kinda like it, as long as it doesn't get out of hand, it'll be that way as long as I'm sitting here. But once it gets loud and obnoxious and stuff, then we gotta reel it back in, because it's gonna be on TV, and we don't want anybody yelled at.
I appreciate you coming to the meetings, you and Bev,
Yeah.
to see you. It's
Both of
nice
you.
to see faces out there,
And Nicole,
and Pat. And Nicole,
and Nicole, she's,
you know.
all right, no more public, no more board members, I entertain a motion to adjourn at 8:58 PM,
I'll make the motion.
and I'll second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. You're ready to go,
Aye.
okay? Aye. Motion carried. Thank you, everyone.